All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Rayhaan. I'm so excited to have you share some information and advice with our students. And I'd love to start with you introducing yourself with your name, your full name, when you graduated GW and what you're doing now.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. So my name is Rayhaan Rasheed. I graduated from GW, well, one, I got my undergraduate degree from GW in biomedical engineering, and then I got my master's degree in data science in end of 2019. And so afterwards, I left after graduate school, I went over to Deloitte for a couple of years. I was working in the GPS practice, which is their public services sector. And so I was working as a data scientist in their medical fraud transactions division. And so there's a lot of fun for some time. And then I wanted to jump into the private sector, work in sort of health tech and that sort of intersection between health tech and data science and AI. And so I worked for a company called Prognos. We are doing, petabytes of um, data science and sort of building out AI applications for pharma companies, some of the most well-known pharma companies that you all know. And then afterwards, I sort of jumped into more of a product-driven role where I was leading product strategy, innovation strategy, a lot of AI strategy for VaynerMedia. And so VaynerMedia is a really big, a really large media and marketing conglomerate globally, founded by Gary Vee, for any of those who do follow him. And so we help Fortune 500 brands sort of enter into the marketing media space. But where I come in is a bit sort of out of the box, and I sort of help build out those big companies and help build out those AI strategies and how they can leverage emerging technology to sort of help them stay afloat and sort of be competitive in the market from a marketing and media perspective.
Wow, that's a lot. That's terrific. Lots of different experiences there. Wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. And I'm going to ask you, first of all, in your experience, what do you think are the three must-have top skills needed by someone who's looking to be successful in this industry? And I realize the industry is pretty broad, but what do employers get excited about when they see a resume?
Oh yeah, that's a good question because I've hired a few people as well on my end. Um, I think the most important thing is one, obviously realize that AI is a very big topic now, right? But for those who are in the data science school, like you also understand from your education that like data AI has been around for far longer than that, right? And like understand how the models are built and all of that. You understand that we've been using AI and machine learning for quite some time. So coming in with the expertise and really leaning into like all the different work you've done with that, you don't have to, if you're applying to some really big companies and you don't have the other big companies under your belt, like, but showing that you've done work in this space and you really understand your craft is really important. Um, Showing the projects you've done, showing any publications you might have, and then just showing like, I think another big thing is domain experience, right? If you're someone who's passionate in, I don't know, education, right, or sustainability, like really lean into and show projects that lead into that passion of like I've built, a model or built a product that really helps educate children in the fifth grade, right? Um, Showing that really helps you one understand the domain, but also like how to apply emerging technology to industries or industry specific problems. Um, and so sometimes resumes also don't fully encapsulate the whole story. And that happens to me all the time. And so I think another big thing is also just finding other ways to highlight your skills, whether that be on LinkedIn, whether that be through networking, or even, creating your own like portfolio website or some sort, like finding other ways or other touch points that these companies can see the full picture about yourself.
Excellent. I know that people can use GitHub to make some pretty interesting
That
looking
too.
portfolios. Can be really interesting.
That too. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. What are some of the ways that you think students can become more familiar with the different fields, the different data science related fields? Are there like conferences or associations or specific resources you'd suggest?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the best thing, I think the best advice I always got about being in the data science field, this is when I was still in grad school in the data science school, was just like have a learner's mindset from when you are in, getting your data science degree all the way to like when you retire, even past that, right? Like always have a learner's mindset because this space, especially in the past 3 years alone, has exponentially grown. And you have a lot of people jumping into it. It's a lot more competition. There's a lot much more material to learn. Um, so the best thing to do is just have a learner's mindset, right? And like go to conferences, like you said, blogs and publications, look at trend reports, dig through all that literature. Um, but I also think there's a good sort of distribution of all of that, right? I think it's like 70% of your learner's mindset should be from that stuff, all the publications and the white papers and the conferences and all that. 30% really is, I think, networking, right? A lot of some great ideas and some ideas and products that haven't really hit the market yet are through word of mouth. When you go to a networking event, we go to networking events outside of conferences, like you'll realize that people are building things that are going to be coming out are really going to impact the future, but they haven't created a report about it. They haven't put it in a textbook yet. So that's where networking really helps. And then 5% is just like um, your own exploration, whatever that may be, right? Finding your industry that you like. Um, Sometimes even teaching people about like data science and AI. Like there's a really cool correlation between teaching somebody a subject and really understanding it even further and wanting to learn more about it. Um, so I think just staying on all those pulses and just really understanding that like tomorrow is a new day and the whole industry might be shifting. So you never know.
I love that learner's mindset. As an educator, I especially love that learner's mindset. And it goes on outside of school. Obviously, it goes on inside of school, but it sounds like it goes
Yeah.
on forever and outside of school. If you were starting out now, how do you think you'd break into the field, or what are some thoughts you have about students who are looking to break into the field?
Into sort of like the AI data science field.
Yeah.
If you're looking to break into it, I feel like everyone's trying to break into it right now, right? I think everyone's a so-called AI expert nowadays, but I think the people who come from this program are actual AI experts. But it's hard for people who are in the hiring chair to like make that differentiation. There's a lot of like mistrust now because of the fact that there are a lot of AI experts out there who really don't have an AI background. Um, but breaking into the space, you know, comes back down to kind of what I said earlier, right? Setting up those projects, working on those projects, being really active on, you know, social media sites, not like dances on TikTok, but more of like, really building out your digital presence on LinkedIn. If that means like you're creating educational content about AI or about your industry, do that because that's how you get discovered now. I think people need to realize that we are living in a digital age where your digital presence is, I think, equally important as your physical presence. And so how you come off on, because when someone says, hey, you should talk to so and so, right? I think they'd be a great fit for your company. The first thing people usually do is they go to your LinkedIn page, right?
Yeah.
They're going to see who was this person, what have they done, where did they go to school, because it's a clear synopsis of like everything you've done. Um, if there's ways to go to your GitHub, then they'll look into that. Like I can look at everything about you without speaking to you in probably 5 minutes by going through all your pages. And the more value I can see that you're driving, the more value I can see within you for my company or for my project. Um, and then that's also where networking comes into play. I think networking it's so important. It's what's gotten me to where I am today because it's a skill, first of all. It's a skill. No one's born a great networker, but it's a skill that, you know, really builds credibility about yourself in the industry that you're interested in. Because you can sit at desks and code all day, and they've done great work and they've gone on to do really great things. But at the same time, there are also people who can do both, who can do great work behind a desk in front of a computer, but also speak to it and speak about their passions and aspirations and the value they can drive to others. And you are building a network in real life as well on top of your social network. So it's just really about staying active, right? There's some VPs that I know of, some SVPs that I know of, like they're still out there building out their own brand and building out their and showcasing the value that they bring to the table, even though they have a very cushy job in a very reputable company. But it just shows you, like, if you take a learner's mindset plus a little bit of like brandability, you have a really good combination on top of the skills that you've developed in this program.
So it sounds to me like what's really important, among a lot of other things, is distinguishing yourself from everybody else who's applying for these jobs, since there are so many of these AI experts out there. And perhaps the education is part of that, and also some of that personal branding that you can do on a LinkedIn, and also finding an industry that you really want to dig into rather than trying to kind of work in every industry or be available to every industry. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that definitely is on par. I think the education is the first step, right? Like when you come out of data science school, a lot of people think that, like, they're set for life. And I think it's the wrong mentality to have. It's more of like, you have the first step. Now, what are you going to do with it? Right. And so that's the really important question you should be asking yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Rayhaan, for giving us some words of advice and inspiration and sharing a little bit about your career with us. I know our students are thrilled to hear from you.
Great. Thank you.